The White House has followed an unusual tactic with its messaging around this crisis, frequently talking up the imminence of a Russian invasion. To get more insight on that, we spoke with Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. You may remember him from those impeachment hearings. He's also a Ukraine expert who served on the National Security Council under former President Donald Trump. What are the scenarios that you see playing out in the next few days on the border of Ukraine?
This situation is about as sharp as it's been since this crisis started. What you now see happening is a significant escalation in Russian violations in the Russian-controlled territory in the eastern portions of Ukraine. Now it's reaching a crescendo, and I think this looks like it's potentially shaping up to be a pretext for a major Russian invasion, consistent with, frankly, what I've thought was going to occur for the past couple months, which is Russia sees the only way it could achieve its political aims, which is getting control over Ukraine, is through the use of military power.
You wrote something recently that the world is on the brink of the largest military offensive in Europe since World War II. Is that a little bit alarmist? Are you kind of out of the mainstream in saying that, do you think?
I might be. I guess I'm noted for the fact that I don't pull punches. I'm very, plain speaking and forthright. I don't look to hedge when I feel a deep sense of conviction about something. And I think my job here is to not be alarmist, but to raise the alarm on something that I have very high confidence. I did the mental math, I did the analysis, and I'm just standing firm on it. I hope I'm wrong, frankly. I really hope I'm wrong because the human toll is going to be enormous, but I don't think I am.
How do you view the Biden administration's strategy?
So it's at times I felt myself really kind of pushing him and nudging him to treat the situation as seriously as it warrants. I feel like in the early days, in the November, December timeframe, they may have been on the fence as to whether this was just a bout of diplomatic coercion, which is basically you do the military escalations, but there's no intention to conduct an offensive, or in fact that this was shaping up to be a major military offensive. My assessment was that it was shaping up to be the latter because this is what the Russians need to do to achieve their political aims. They're being excruciatingly deliberate with all the meetings that you do at the National Security Council to build an idea of what's going on. What the administration's been doing that I think has mattered is that they've actually developed a pressure track. And that pressure track consists of making sure that these devastating sanctions are ready to roll out immediately. My concern is that it was too little, too late. I think it's probably not going to be enough, not sufficient to warn off Russia's military offensive.
Do you think Russia takes the U.S. seriously? Because we have implemented sanctions on them many times before. Putin is still moving ahead as of today, from what we can tell. Is the U.S. walking with a big enough stick?
The power disparity is immense between Russia and the U.S. It is a tenth of our economy, almost. Based on that economic might, we have a potent military. We have all of the these levers of great power status. They, of course, always take us seriously. They are deathly afraid of a bilateral confrontation. The question has always been whether the U.S. has had the resolve to employ its capabilities to warn off Russia that consequences are coming. And for more than 2 decades, we haven't. This is not a Biden situation. It's not even a Trump situation. Trump was devastating to U.S. Resolve and prestige, and this idea of whether the U.S. actually has the will or the fortitude to follow through. The broader relationship is going to be in the dumpster for the next decade or more. And we just need to accept it for what it is and start to ratchet up the pressure and hold fast. We just need a more muscular response, and we're slow to get there.
My colleague in Russia right now is reporting that Russian state media is not warning of imminent war or invasion. In the U.S., we're hearing something different, especially today. How is that different messaging part of a different strategy from these two countries?
Well, I think part of it for the Russian perspective is they want to somehow create this perception that they've been forced or compelled into war, that they had no intention of escalating this. On the one note, they're significantly raising the rhetoric around genocide, around these things that are occurring on the border. But on the other note, they're also saying that they're not the ones that are interested in war. They've been compelled to do this. There's something about the Russian history in which Russia has attempted to cast itself as fighting wars of necessity. So they want to cast this as a war of necessity that they've been compelled to participate in. In fact, this is a war of choice. That's why this administration has at times called it imminent, could occur on no notice, and still with some element of surprise. I think, frankly, part of the rhetoric is around preserving some surprise for when the Russians do conduct this operation. They're not fooling anybody, though, in the West. We have a very sophisticated intelligence apparatus that has a great understanding of where we are in the ramp up to a war.
The situation really is the dominating issue right now for the administration. As the world waits for Putin's next move, Vice President Kamala Harris is in Germany for a series of high-level discussions with European leaders. She is also slated to sit down with Ukrainian President Zelensky on Saturday. Krishna?